Well, the time is just gone 9:48 a.m. as we continue with the broadcast this morning right here on Salam Media. Now, today being the 3rd of March, 2023, it is a celebration of World Hearing Day. And it has got a theme as these days have themes year after year. But it is clear that the statistics with regard to hearing loss, hearing problems are actually horrific. And sometimes we don't pay a lot of attention to these statistics, but it is clear that there are many people, millions of people right across the entire world that have some problem with regard to hearing. And joining us this morning is the lead audiologist and project manager at the hearX Foundation, Nausheen Dawood. Nausheen, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome.
Walaikum assalam. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Yes, in celebrating this day, World Hearing Day, the 3rd of March, and it's important to understand the significance of this day, looking at 2023. And as I mentioned, year after year, the day is celebrated, and every year there is a theme. What is the significance of this day, Noshin?
So let's get back to the theme. The theme that we are celebrating this year is Ear and Hearing Care for All. So this is basically to highlight the importance of promoting ear and hearing care amongst communities and aiming towards the goal of universal care for all. And year after year, we celebrate these themes to enlighten people about the impacts and adverse effects of hearing loss so that people can become more aware at an earlier stage and take action before it's too late.
Yes, and also I think sometimes we don't take these things very seriously because numbers tell a big story. And I was just reading on the write-up that was given to me. According to the World Health Organization, over 34 million children experience hearing loss worldwide. And sometimes what happens is we tend to ignore, or we don't even know that they have got a problem. And it is later in life when these things are not detected early that problems occur.
So with children, interestingly, your hearing is actually fully developed at 20 weeks in utero. So before the child is even born, the hearing is fully developed. And from the time the child is born, he or she is constantly learning through his or her senses, hearing being one of the primary senses that is used to learn. And this is typically how children develop speech and language skills, social skills, socio-emotional skills. And by not having access to that hearing already at a very tender and young age, it is affecting their ability to learn effectively.
Yes. Now, let's talk about this year's theme. And, you mentioned that it's about ear and hearing care for all. And just looking at the level of care that is available at this point in time and in keeping up with the theme as well, what is the situation? Is there sufficient resources so that, this theme can be realized, so that this dream or this mission can be realized?
So I think that is why it is so important that we are trying to promote hearing healthcare, because that's exactly what we are. That's a challenge that we are facing. According to the last stats I saw, there was less than one audiologist for every million people out there. And especially in sub-Saharan Africa, where access to ear and hearing care is almost non-existent in some places, it's very important to highlight the issues that we experience with hearing care and to bring it up so that people know when they are experiencing a problem and that we can validate their problems and assist them with intervention and treatment.
Yes, and you talk of Africa. I see, in fact, there's a statistics I'm just looking at. 135 million Africans have hearing problems. Now that is a huge number, Noshin.
Yes. So according to the World Health Organization, there's about 466 million people. By now, it's actually probably more that experience hearing loss worldwide. And unfortunately, there are just not enough services to treat everyone, and especially in the most rural areas. And that is why, as an organization, the organization that I work with, the hearX Foundation, we are actively striving towards overcoming the gaps in hearing care so that more people can be reached worldwide.
And the key message for this World Hearing Day, Noshin?
So, firstly, I'd like to emphasize that it's important to look after your ears because once your hearing is gone, there's no going back. It's hearing loss is usually permanent. And how you can do this is by practicing safe listening habits, practicing good ear and hearing care. So, avoid inserting anything inside your ears. Take care of your hearing. Do not expose yourself to situations, like I said, excessive noise that can damage your hearing, and keep an eye out when you might experience signs and symptoms. Ensure that you have your hearing tested regularly, at least once a year. And for parents who with little children, ensure that your children's hearing is tested as well.
Yes, and just looking at some of the risk factors in terms of trying to reduce the risk of hearing loss, because I see that there are two types of hearing losses. There's permanent and temporary. So it's not that you've got a hearing problem or a hearing loss. It could be a temporary problem. You can minimize those risks, and if you could just touch on those, please, Nushin.
Sure. So a common problem that we see is a lot of people use cotton buds to actually remove wax in from the ears. What they don't know is that minimal amounts of wax is actually good for your ears. So it lubricates the ears, it keeps bacteria away, it keeps the ear healthy, and it cleans the ear. So by using cotton buds, we actually end up pushing more wax in than taking out, and this causes an accumulation and a wax buildup, which then prevents the sound from being conducted ideally in your ear. And as a result, we suffer from temporary hearing loss. And this happens in both adults and children. So this is one of the key take homes that I would suggest, is that stop using anything in your ear. The ear is a self-cleaning organ. It is smart enough to exfoliate the dirt out of the ear canal. The only part of the ear that needs to be cleaned is the outer ear. Other than that, you should just not be inserting anything inside your ears.
Well, just on a lighter note, I want to know, and perhaps you can give me your professional opinion now, whether I've got a hearing problem, because my wife always tells me you hear but you don't listen.
So I think that's a common problem with all husband-wife relationships. But interestingly enough, I can give you some scientific evidence to back that up. So typically, when you lose your hearing, especially with the age-related hearing loss, you tend to lose your hearing first in the high frequency range, and that is the same range where women's voices actually fall. And as a result, husbands tend not to hear their wives because it's within that frequency range. So you actually have a valid reason. But in terms of the listening, I can't really help you there.
Well, I call it selective hearing because I only hear what I want to hear. Noshin, people wanting more information now. I see you've got the hearX Foundation. Is there a lot more information for people? You've got a website, or is there anyone they could contact?
Yes, we do have a website. It's hearxfoundation.org. And then we've also got an email address that you can contact us, info@hearxfoundation.org. There are also wonderful tools on the World Health Organization website that you can access. Those are all scientific and reliable tools that you can access for free.
Well, Noshin, I must say it's been an absolute pleasure having you and obviously sharing the information you have with us on this World Hearing Day. We trust and hope that a lot of value would be added to this discussion, and many people who are listening to us, who are viewing us, will take note of what he said, and more importantly, to do something about it. So, for that, we thank you. Jazakallah for your time. Assalamu alaikum.
Great. Thank you for having me.
Nausheen Dawood was us this morning, lead audiologist and project manager at the hearX Foundation. We're going to go for a quick break. We come back, we'll be joined by Africa Muslims Agency.